Hey, it's Coach Justin from Ultimate Baseball Training. Welcome back to another video. And in this video, we're talking a little bit about outfield play. I'm going to be going over 5 costly mistakes that you want to be sure that you avoid. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, so the first mistake is lazy shagging in BP. And it's easy for outfielders to get away with this, right? Infielders, it's a little bit of a different story because you're closer to the action, right? So you really have to be paying attention. But so many times during on-field BP, you'll see outfielders who really just aren't paying attention. They aren't working on anything. They aren't being intentional out there. It's just lazy shagging. And you're not out there, you have to realize you're not out there just to collect baseballs, right? I think that's a pitcher's mentality sometimes because they don't really have to work on anything out there. And so if pitchers are in the outfield, a lot of times they start, chatting about what's going on off of the field or whatever. And if you're an outfielder, you just have to be aware that that's, pitchers, that's fine for them to be out there and just be collecting baseballs, but you're there to get better. You're there to be intentional. You're there to work on something. So do that. I challenge you, treat every single BP pitch like it's a pitch in a real game. So do your pre-pitch routine, whatever that may be, right? Do that routine. Work on, boom, balls hit, work on your reads, work on getting a good first step without having any stutter steps or any wasted movement, right? Work on intentionally misreading a fly ball and then making up for it later on. So misjudge a fly ball and then, make up for it. Work on, balls off of the wall and how you're going to react to that, right? If the ball's still moving, you got to field it with your glove and your hand. If the ball is stopped by the wall, you can just barehand it. These are all things that you can be thinking about and working on in the outfield, but just something to be aware of. That's a common mistake, just lazy shagging in BP. Remember, you're not out here just to collect baseballs. The second costly mistake is getting your initial read wrong. Now, getting a great jump is very important. You hear that all the time. You hear broadcasters talk about, oh, he got a great jump on that ball, right? And so getting a great jump is very important, but I think more important than getting a great jump, first of all, you got to make sure it's in the right direction, right? Because if the ball's hit over, your left shoulder this way and your first move should be back like this, but instead you misread it somehow and you don't see it well off the bat and your first step is forward and in this direction, in complete opposite direction of where you should be going, that's just going to take up more time. So it's better, yes, you want to work on getting great jumps, but make sure you're getting the correct read, the correct jump first, because getting that correct read can make up for some speed and some quickness, that along with taking the correct angle to the baseball. So yes, you want to work on always getting quicker, better jumps, but just be sure that you're getting the jump in the right direction. The third costly mistake, this one's a big one, letting infielders catch fly balls in the outfield. Now, there's a time and a place. Sometimes it is going to happen, especially if it's a really shallow fly ball and they're the only players that can get to it. But you need to get into the habit as an outfielder of any time that you can get to the baseball, you're communicating with infielders and you're calling them off. There's really no excuse. And the reason for that is because if I'm moving in this way, I can see everything that's in front of me. Whereas an infielder, if he's backpedaling out to get a fly ball, or if he completely turns his back, he can't see what's going on in the infield. Whereas you as the outfielder working in, you can see everything in front of you. So it's much easier. It's also, if you've ever been an infielder and you're trying to catch a fly ball in the outfield, a lot of times your eyes are moving all over the place. It's tough to see the ball and it's really tough to make that play. Sometimes you see guys like Arenado catching the ball over their shoulder. But if you're an outfielder, you've got to take charge. There's no excuse for it. Any ball that you can get to, you need to make that play because you can see what's in front of you. And think about momentum too, right? Your momentum is moving in, so you're going to be able to catch the ball and go into a good crow hop, whether it's a throw to third base, a throw to home. You're better off than an infielder who's, on his heels and catches it like this and has zero momentum. So just get into the habit, communicate. That's the biggest thing. Call off infielders, take charge. Any ball that you can for sure get to it and make the play. Costly mistake number 4 is throwing behind runners, okay? So the general rule of thumb as an outfielder, you want to throw 2 bases ahead of the lead runner. So if there's a runner on first base and there's a base hit to you, you want to position yourself to be able to get ready to make a throw to third base. That would be 2 bases ahead of that lead runner. Now, there's a time and a place for everything, right? And you really want to avoid throwing behind runners. And what I mean by that is, let's say there's a runner at second base, and let's say he's got great speed, and it's a base hit to you, but it's a little bit slower, so it takes you a little while longer to get to that baseball. And by the time you pick up that ball, you know, he's already rounding third, and he's going to score easily. Well, it would be a mistake for you to throw behind him and throw to home plate if you have no chance of getting him, because the guy that just hit that baseball, right, instead of being at first with a single, he's going to, you know, take a good turn and he's going to advance to second base. Now you don't have the double play in order because you chose to throw behind that runner. It's always important to keep the double play in order. So think about, as a general rule of thumb, 2 bases ahead, but be sure that you're not throwing behind runners. And a great, you know, when in doubt cue to tell yourself is just keep the ball down, you know, throw it through your cutoff man. You want to keep the ball down. That way it's low enough to where you're not airmailing the infielders, and the infielders have a chance to either relay it to wherever you're trying to go, or they can cut it and they can, go a different direction to a different base with it, okay? But don't throw behind runners. That's a cardinal sin for outfielders. And last but certainly not least, number 5 for today's video, the 5th thing that you really want to avoid in the outfield is letting runners run in your face. So what that means, let's say I'm in left field right now, okay? And it's a routine base hit to me, and so I jog over to make the play, right? And that base runner, the guy that just, you know, got that base hit, he comes hard out of the batter's box and he takes a good turn at first base, and I'm kind of just taking my time to get over to the ground ball, right? I'm jogging to the ball, and instead of stopping at first base, he makes a hard turn and he advances to second base, and then I got to quickly try to field the ball, and I throw it to second, and you know, he slides and he's safe. He just ran in my face, and he had no business doing that, but it was my fault because I was being lazy, right? So to counteract this, you always want to, you never want to let a ball get behind you. The most important thing is securing the baseball, but you've got to hustle to the baseball. So a base hit routine play to you, get to the baseball in a hurry, you know, sprint to the baseball, and then as you get closer to the baseball, then you can break down and slow everything down so that you field the ball cleanly. You don't just want to sprint right through it, sprint past it. You're going to make a lot of errors that way, but get to the baseball in a hurry, then break down. That'll help you avoid having base runners run in your face. So that's it. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please smash that like button. I'd really appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel. That way you never miss any of our upcoming videos. And hitters, be sure to download the free contact point checklist that I put together for you. It'll help you make sure that your swing looks picture perfect at the point of contact so that you can maximize your bat speed and your power and your consistency at the plate. So you can download it 100% free. Just click on the link down below in the description. I'll also leave that link in the comment section. So go download that right now. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.